Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week's meal prep and grocery haul video is going to be combined. I didn't have a very big grocery haul to share with you. It's just mostly filler and produce. So I thought I would just do them together. So we have our grocery haul. I'll have my meal plan in the description box. I have 2 lunches / dinners that I'm going to make this week. These are going to be my main meals, but then I'm also going to do some other stuff throughout the week. I am making the Emily Bites wild rice chicken soup, which I've not had in forever. Brianna over at Diva and the Divine made that this week, and it just looked amazing. So I changed my meal plan just to make that, and I'm also making a Cajun chicken pasta. So these will be my 2 lunches and also some dinners this week. So first, let's go into the grocery haul, then we'll go into meal prep. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another grocery haul and meal plan video. I will have my meal plan up on the screen after this, and I'll also put everything linked down below. I'll try to remember as I go along what I am making. Also, I didn't have to pick up a lot, didn't have to pick up any meat, picked all that up last week, so let's get into it. This is all from Fred Meyer, which is also a Kroger store. I do have to get like 3 or 4 things at Safeway, and then I will be done. They had grapes on sale there for $3.99 for these big, huge ones, and this is the tricolor of that. Cucumbers to go with my hummus that I left over from last week. The julienne carrots is going to be for a Thai, like a sweet Thai chili chicken bowl. Green onions for salads, and also pretty much for everything that I'm having this week. Picked up some gala apples. I have more avocados somewhere. I think I ended up having like 3 avocados, but they're over there. So anyway, I do have 3 avocados just to go with various things. Tomatoes, I'm going to be doing a BLT chicken wrap, and I needed tomatoes for that. Cilantro for a couple of the different bowls and wraps I'm making. My plan is to have a couple different bowls, and I'll be meal prepping the stuff for that, and then I have like 3 different wrap ideas to make. Celery, I'm going to be, you'll be seeing this in meal prep. I'm going to do the Emily Bites wild mushroom chicken soup. So I needed some celery for that, and as well as carrots. So I picked up 1 bag of carrots to put with that soup, and then whatever's left over I will have for my hummus. Picked up a big thing of lettuce for salads and also for all of my wraps. And then I like the baby romaine to put in my wraps, as well as my bowls and things like that. I picked up some brown rice. I'm going to do for my bowls that I'll have for lunches or dinners. I'm going to mix the brown rice with the rice flour. So that's what I like to do. So I'll just bake up a big batch of this in meal prep and have that ready to go. I also like to get the frozen chopped onions. Sometimes it just makes it easier than having to chop up all the onions. And I already showed you the rice cauliflower. Vegetable broth for the soup. I need some buffalo sauce for one of the wraps. Is going to be a buffalo chicken wrap. I was going to make a chicken and barley soup, so I forgot to take this out of my cart when I decided to do the wild rice soup, but I'll just use that for another thing. Black beans are for one of the recipes, though, the Southwest chicken bowl, and then the petite diced tomatoes, I believe, is for a Cajun chicken pasta that I'll be making, and you'll see that in meal prep. I think I have all the other ingredients for that pasta. I just needed to get the diced tomatoes. This was something that was sent to me from Simply Delish. I'm on their ambassador list. So they have these new protein powders. And the idea around them, my understanding, is that you can mix these in with your pudding. So you can make your pudding like a protein pudding, which a lot of people do that with just regular like yogurt. They'll mix in like a protein powder in with them. So yeah, this is interesting. I'll have to try this out and let you know. So I got vanilla and a chocolate, and the same with the pudding. Now they call these keto puddings, but they're really not anything different than a regular sugar-free pudding. The Simply Delish just has a lot better ingredients than some of the other boxed puddings. Tortilla strips for the Southwest chicken wraps. You guys know I've been loving using plain non-fat Greek yogurt in my smoothies rather than protein powders. So picked up another big thing of that so I could do that again this next week. Salsa for the Southwest chicken wraps has like a dressing you make. Oh, this was the other thing I needed for the Cajun pasta, so I needed some cream cheese. You could use like the 3rd less fat cream cheese, but what I liked about the whipped cream cheese is it's easier to mix in when you're putting it in things like pasta, and it is less calories by doing the whipped. So picked that up. I also needed Parmesan cheese for that Cajun chicken pasta. So that, I already have the pasta. I have 1 bag of Fiber Gourmet, the low calorie pasta that I need to use up. So that's why I wanted to come up with some sort of pasta dish. Ranch dressing to go with the buffalo chicken wraps. Fat-free half and half for the Emily Bites soup. Fully cooked bacon for the BLT chicken wraps. And then I bought a big thing of the really large La Marinated wraps. I really like these. They are 80 calories. So what I'll do is I'll make the wraps, probably throw them in my air fryer to make them a little bit crispy. And then I have a ton, if you guys saw last week's grocery haul, I have a ton of frozen vegetables left over that I plan on putting on the side of my wraps. I will have my meal plan linked down below. We're going to go ahead and go into the meal prep. So check out the description box. I'm going to have my meal plan in there, also all of the recipes that I mentioned I'll be making this week, and I also have a few wrap recipes that I'm kind of getting inspiration from, so I'll have all those linked down below and any bowls that I come across, so check out that description box. But right now we're going to jump right into this week's meal prep. First thing we're going to make is going to be the Cajun chicken pasta. So first thing you need is some chicken. So I have a pound of chicken. I'm going to use this Fiber Gourmet pasta. I haven't used this in forever. It's less calories, less carbs, high fiber. You also need a full red bell pepper chopped up, a can of diced tomatoes. If you can find the fire roasted, that would be great. 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. We need 4 ounces of cream cheese. I believe just a half of a cup of fat-free half and half. We need 2 cups of chicken broth, some chopped onions, some garlic paste, and then some Cajun seasoning. I will type out the recipe down below in the description box. So first thing we're going to do is just coat the chicken with this Cajun seasoning. So just kind of toss it on there. If you want to measure it, I would say probably about a half of a tablespoon to a tablespoon on the chicken itself, just depending on how much chicken you have. So whatever you want to do, but it is a little spicy. So we're going to put this in a pan. I sprayed it with some cooking spray. We're just going to go ahead and cook up this chicken. So you want to make sure your pan's a little bit warm so we can get it seared off, because that makes the juiciest chicken is when it is seared. So we're going to go ahead and cook this chicken up, and then we're going to remove it from the pan. Okay, I'm just going to stir this around, and I'm going to start taking it out. So I'm just using a slotted spoon so I can remove the chicken and still leave any juices in there, because I want those juices to cook with the onions and peppers, which we're going to put in next. So just kind of, you don't have to worry about putting any more oil or any more cooking spray or anything, because you can just use the natural, broth from the chicken, and also it has some of that Cajun seasoning in there as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just add in, this is 2 bell peppers, so I'm just gonna put in about half of the mixture in there because I'm saving the rest for a recipe later in the week. So I'm gonna have the bell peppers, and then we're gonna add in our onions. You can use fresh onion. You guys know I like to use frozen onion for a lot of my recipes. I just don't like chopping onion. So I'm just gonna kind of toss in what I see, about a half of an onion or so. And then we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit more Cajun seasoning. So again, at this point, I would say again, add in to a half to a tablespoon, just depending on your flavor. You can always add more later if you want, but I would put in about, I don't know, probably about a half a tablespoon or so in there. I always just measure with my heart. Then we're gonna add in some garlic paste. You can also use minced garlic. I just like garlic paste. I feel like it just adds so much flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and add all that in there, and we're gonna saute this up until your onions and peppers are just kind of softened, but not like completely cooked through. It just depends on how, how crispy, soft you want your peppers. Once your vegetables are to your liking, we're gonna add in the whole can of diced tomatoes. Again, if you can find fire roasted, that would be the best. My store has been out of fire roasted forever. Both of my 2 stores, I've checked for it. Then we're gonna add in that half of a cup of fat-free half and half, 2 cups of chicken broth, and I'm just gonna give that a good stir. And we are going to then add in our pasta. So again, you can use whatever kind of pasta you wanna use. You guys know I like to use that chickpea pasta, the protein pasta, the lentil pasta. You can use whatever you want. Now this Fiber Gourmet pasta, it's only an 8-ounce bag, and you say you could use anywhere between 8 to 12 ounces in this recipe. You may just want to add in more chicken broth, so just eyeball it. But so if you do use another box of pasta, then you may want to just add just a little bit of more chicken broth. So we're going to bring that to a boil. Then we're going to put our lid on it, and we're going to let this simmer basically until your pasta is cooked. So just depending on what kind of pasta you're using is going to depend on how long it takes. Just keep an eye on it and make sure you don't need to add more broth in there. So once everything is all done, we're going to add in our cream cheese. So my cream cheese, I like to use the whipped cream cheese. It's just, to me, it's just so much easier to combine in there. And it's only 50 calories, which I think is really comparable to the third less fat cream cheese. So I'm using 4 ounces of cream cheese that has been softened and room temperature. That way, that's where you're going to get the best creaminess out of this. So make sure, even if you're using the block, make sure you have it sitting on the counter the whole time you're making this so it's nice and softened. But you will find the whipped cream cheese mixes in so much better. Then we're going to add in 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. Use whatever kind of grated Parmesan cheese you want to use. We're just going to mix that up in there. So now you just want to keep stirring until your cream cheese is completely mixed in and you don't see any more lumps or anything. And I almost forgot to add the chicken back in there. I completely forgot. I was thinking, I am done. This was so easy, but nope. Make sure you add your chicken back in there. So we're going to add our chicken in there, give it a good stir. And then when I'm ready to have this, right now I'm just going to put it in one container because I do come home for lunch. So I don't need to make it into little individual containers. And my son is not living at home anymore, so I don't have to put him in containers for him to take to work. So I'm just going to put it in one big container. But what I'll end up doing is, before I have some of this, I'm going to weigh out the entire batch. And then I'm going to divide it by 4 servings. This is going to be a pretty big serving. I actually have this and then plus one other container that I think I'll end up putting into the freezer because I don't think I'll be able to eat it all this week. Next up, we're going to make a chicken wild rice soup from Emily Bites. It has been a hot minute since I have made this recipe. So I was watching Brianna over at Diva and the Divine, and she made it this week, and it just sounded so amazing. So I changed my meal plan just to add this in there. So we need 2 cups of water, 4 cups of broth. I like to use vegetable broth in these types of recipes. A pound of chicken, a box of wild rice, and you want to use this Uncle Ben's one because it has the seasoning packet in there. Carrots, celery, they say a cup of each, but I always double my amount of veggies in any soup. So I did 2 cups of celery and 2 cups of carrots. You'll need a half a cup of flour later, some salt and pepper, 8 tablespoons of light butter or a whole stick of butter, whatever one you want to do. I am doing, the original recipe calls for 2 cups of half and half fat-free. I'm going to use 1 cup of fat-free half and half and 1 cup of regular half and half. To me, it just makes it a little bit creamier, does add a little bit more fat and calories, but I can always fit it in my day. The first thing I'm going to do is a little bit different than the original recipe, which I will have that recipe linked down below, is I like to saute up my veggies first anytime I make a soup. For me, I feel like it adds a lot more flavor, and I actually learned this on, I want to say it's either Laura Vitale or was it like Pioneer Woman? I don't remember. I was watching somebody and that's what they were showing to do. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to saute up my veggies, not until they're softened, just till they just have a little bit of warmth and color to them. Then I'm going to add in the chicken broth and the water. Again, I love to use vegetable broth in this because I feel like vegetable broth has so much flavor, and that's why I prefer to use vegetable broth versus chicken broth in most soups. Then we're also going to add in 2 cups of water. And we're going to kind of give that a stir. And then we're going to also bring this to a boil at this point. So bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to add in my chicken. Now you can see here, it looks like I'm using my crock pot. Well, I am, but my crock pot also doubles as like a stovetop. So I was using my stove for another recipe during this. And so I am actually using this as a regular pot because my crock pot has that option. So you want to put in also all your chicken and then your whole box of the Uncle Ben's rice along with that seasoning packet. So you want to go ahead and put all that in there. You can see that seasoning packet smelled so good when I poured it in there. I don't know what's in it, but oh my goodness. I'm going to have to try this rice sometime like on its own. I have a feeling it's probably amazing. So we're going to go ahead and let this keep simmering until your chicken is cooked through. So we're going to add the chicken in there and then probably about 30 minutes or so. Just really depends on how thick your chicken is. I'm using chicken tenders, so mine only took about 20 minutes, but I feel like if you're using like full chicken breasts, it may take closer to 25-30 minutes. So just watch your chicken whenever it looks like it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and then we're going to put the lid on there, and we're going to let this all cook. now that my chicken is cooked through, I'm going to go ahead and take a slotted spoon. I'm going to pull out those chicken tenders, and then we're going to put those off to the side because we're going to shred those up. And then once we get all this done out of there, then we're going to make our roux. Now, I'm going to give you a warning right now. Y'all, this is real life. I made a huge mess making my roux because I used a small little pot. I forgot how much liquid I had to use in this, so stay tuned. Don't laugh at me, or go ahead, it's okay. So we have our 8 tablespoons of light butter, or you can use a stick, like I said, whatever you're using. And we're going to go ahead and melt that. Also, I just weighed this out in grams is what I did. So I think it was like 112 or 114 grams, something like that. So once that's melted, you're going to add in a half of a cup of flour. Oh, I'm adding some salt and pepper first. You're supposed to actually add the salt and pepper to the flour, but I forgot. So I'm just going to add the salt and pepper to the butter. Then we're going to add in that flour. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of slowly add it in there. And we're just going to keep whisking until you get like this nice, like, you know, pasty mixture. And again, I think I had my heat a little bit too high. It's been so long since I've done anything like this before, but here's where the mess happens. So we're going to slowly add in our half and half mixture. Again, I'm using 1 cup of regular half and half and 1 cup of fat-free half and half. Yeah, you can see here, what a mess. Oh my goodness. So I cleaned it up a little bit, but you can see my stovetop. I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleaning. Anyway, you want to keep whisking, 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 because you don't want those lumps. So just keep whisking, use a bigger pot, keep whisking until you have a nice creamy mixture. Then you're going to pour that into your soup. And then once we get that all in there, we're going to give it a good stir. And this really pretty much is done at this point, but you want your mixture to thicken up. So what I usually do is I will stir it around here a little bit. Let it keep simmering. I still have my pot on simmering, so I'm just going to let it keep simmering. And then I just turn the heat off there and just kind of tilt the lid a little bit off to the side because I feel like it thickens up the longer it sits there. But y'all, I mean, look at this soup. It is so good. Oh yeah, forgot to put the chicken in there. Sorry about that. Totally forgot to put the chicken in there. So put your chicken back in there. Give it a good stir. And like I said, doesn't this look amazing? Oh my goodness. I'm going to put this in the freezer. It does freeze well. I used to make this all the time when I first started WW, and it is such a good recipe. So yeah, it freezes really well. So I think whatever I don't eat this week, I'll definitely be tossing in the freezer. But oh my goodness, I will have this recipe linked down below. I'll have the Cajun pasta one completely written out for you below. I will have my meal plan with links down there as well. And thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to watch my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.